friend. I've got a penny for you. Do something for your belly. You'll never taste better. It's good for what ails you. Yeah. We'll drown our troubles together, eh? Share and share alike. That's enough. Let go, man, you'll spoil the merchandise. Weighs more than I'd have thought.
He probably won't break $30. More likely 25.
Well, you must take what each day gives with gratitude. Not sighing, but trusting in tomorrow. Every little bit added to what we already have means a little bit more. One step at a time. It's always my motto, John. One step at a time.
Someone at the door of the house of sudden death. And just inside, two murderers who have just, may I say, made another killing in the market. Caught red-handed with their latest victim in the teak chest coffin that has room for only one at a time. Yes, when that door opens, sudden death lurks in the darkness for those who dare to enter. Our story is called The Innocent Bystanders. And if you're tempted to believe that it is not true, you will be quite wrong. Although the names and places have been changed, it is based upon documented facts. Facts which prove beyond a doubt that good can come out of evil, that social progress is sure to result from the deeds of despicable men like Jacob Grant and John Paterson, whose ruthlessness was their own undoing. Yes, my friends, our story is true, and here to breathe life into its blood-stained pages for you tonight are these distinguished players. John Anderson, George Kennedy, Janet Lake, Stephen Terrell, Gail Robbins, and Carl Benton Reed. Now prepare yourselves for a terrifying hour that won't be easy for you to forget. As sure as my name is Boris Karloff, it'll be rerun again and again in your nightmares.
I'm Mary Gerald from Berkshire Mountains. I'm looking for my sister Anne. She's married to a man by the name of Jacob Grant.
My name's Evans, Bruce Evans. This is my wife, Elsie.
His wife for 4 long days. They ran off and married, and their families disowned them for it. Oh, it's all very romantic and all, but, well, I'm afraid they're out in the world now alone.
Ah, but they have each other. And it's love that matters most. You've come to the proper place, Mary Gerald. I'm the man you're seeking. I'm Jacob Grant.
Oh,
And proud to be the brother-in-law of such a hearty beauty.
thank you.
Come in, and welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brother Jacob. This is most generous of you. Tell me now, would you be having a room for me and for my friends? The poor child, she's done in.
We don't ask charity. I'll pay our keep from what I earn as soon as I find work.
Of course. Of course, you look to me to be a truly upstanding young man who gives but never asks of favors. But no need to discuss money matters now. How rude of me. This gentleman is my business partner, Mr. Paterson.
Yeah, John Paterson. At your service, ma'am.
Where's Anne?
Your dear sister is out. She'll be back soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, there are 2 vacant rooms at the back. Please take your choice and make yourselves comfortable. Please excuse me, Mrs. Evans. This contains merchandise which my partner and I must deliver. The purchaser is waiting most impatiently. Come along, John. We won't be gone long.
May I? Well, now, I told you we could expect hospitality. Brother Jacob is a very kind and warm-hearted man. But come now, let's look at our rooms, huh?
Come now to the bone of Luz, the indestructible nucleus around which the resurrected body will be reassembled. There's no such bone. There never was. But you go on writing about it, teaching that it's there. The same blind lie for 13 centuries. No wonder you're grinning. None so blind as those who will not see. There you have it, gentlemen. We are ruled by fools who make it a crime to seek and show the truth, which God knows is marvelous enough.
You're not going to say that to your students, are you, Doctor?
It's time and long past time to say it to the whole world. We can't go on forever clinging to prejudice, defending ignorance. You're right, of course. One man's voice will not be heard, especially not mine. It takes more than courage, Vane, to make yourself a human sacrifice for a cause that no one cares about. It takes a quality of divine madness, which is as missing from my makeup as the bone of Luz.
Grant and Paterson are here.
Pay them and get rid of them.
They won't leave, Doctor, unless they get $50 instead of $25 as customary.
And pay them 50 and let them go.
But if I do, they'll want more next time. They say they've cornered the market, Doctor. That's the very words they used. They say they mean to put their competition out of business.
Business. Bodies for sale to the highest bidder.
Well, sir, however you look at it, facts are facts. The others are, well, unreliable. But Grant and Paterson deliver the merchandise.
Merchandise. Poor lumps of mortal clay that yesterday were living, breathing, hoping human beings.
But of no use to anyone alive, least of all to themselves.
Do you really believe what you've just said?
Well, sir, considering what they were, the lowest of the low.
We like to think that in our own defense, but they might disagree. They might even look down on the skulking thieves that steal them from their graves and despise the high and mighty gentlemen who buy their bodies.
You can't change the system, Doctor. As long as the law says surgeons must graduate in anatomy, but forbids them to dissect, which is the proper way to learn, the only way.
You've learned the anatomist apologia by heart, haven't you, Vane?
I've heard it spoken many times.
By honest, honorable men, God help us all.
The good book says that which can't be cured must be endured.
I don't think that's in the Bible. Men invented it. Men like Jacob Grant, who also says the laborer is worthy of his hire. They say the devil can quote scripture. But where is our excuse?
You don't need one, Doctor. You're serving humanity.
Am I? I wonder, Vane. I wonder. Whosoever toucheth pitch, the prophet said, shall surely be defiled therewith. Whose hands are clean? Not mine. Not mine.
Doctor, the men...
Yes, pay them, Vane, and get rid of them.
The new price will be $50. He'll buy hereafter from no one but you.
You've done well, Mr. Vane. I think John will let Mr. Vane keep $10 for his trouble.
I'll take 25. Dr. Graham has a weakness. He has a conscience. He's ashamed of doing business with body snatchers. He despises it more and more the deeper he's dragged in.
He's in too deep to let you cheat us, Mr. Vane.
But you and Mr. Paterson are in much deeper. By the time Dr. Graham gets to this, nature will have done her work. But just now, the corpse is still warm. I know how long it takes for rigor mortis to set in. This was never in any grave or in any coffin but your chest. You've eliminated the middleman, the undertaker. Very enterprising, but dangerous. Should Dr. Graham find out the truth?
One step at a time, John. I've liked doing business with you, Mr. Vane, but greed can harm our good relations.
What is wrong with share and share alike in any business partnership?
Why, put it that way, you have a point. You have a point. You will hear from us.
The next should be feminine. Dr. Graham has a special lecture on the subject, which is particularly popular with the paying students. Preferably no bag of bones, but young, hale, hearty.
Who is it?
It's me, John Paterson. I have a spot of cheer for you.
We've gone to bed. My wife's asleep.
Well, wake her up and bring her out. We'll drink a toast to the bride. Open up!
Not a drinking man, Mr. Paterson. My wife needs a rest. I'll ask you to kindly leave us be.
John Paterson! I'm surprised at you, John, disturbing our new lodgers so late, and on their first night with us, too. We had a stroke of good luck in our business, and my partner's been out celebrating, but he shouldn't be bothering you and your bride. No offense intended, and none taken, I trust. Come away, John. Come away now. My apologies to Mrs. Evans. You drunken fool, you! You'd put your neck in a noose, and mine too, if I'd let you, which I won't, just for the pleasure of it. And all the time, what's wanted is right in there, ready and waiting. Not young, perhaps, but hale and hearty.
hale and hearty. One step at a time. Eh, John?
One step at a time.
The jug is empty, and yet I feel the need for more drink. Let's join our colleagues at the Chain and Anchor. Nothing gives a businessman quite so much satisfaction as the knowledge that he has ample merchandise set aside in stock.
It's always the same, Anne. No job without experience, no experience without a job. I was hoping someday I'd find a nice young man and make that into a wedding dress.
Oh, no. Don't be discouraged. You've only been in the city 4 days. You be patient.
Good news, Mary. Mr. Paterson thinks he's found a place of employment for you.
Oh, well, now that is good news.
We'll take you there. You'll have to hurry.
But it's supper time. Can't it wait until tomorrow?
It's all right, Anne. I'm only too happy to have this opportunity. If you'll tell me where the place is, you won't have to bother taking me there.
As well, it's quite a distance. You'd never find your way there without some guidance.
Oh, well, then I'll hurry and get my cape.
Good night, my dear. Now, put some supper by for us.
Not Mary. Not my sister. My own sister. Please, you can't do this, not Mary.
She'll do.
She'll do for $100.
I told you the price is 50.
It's gone up. $100. What you can steal from Dr. Graham over and above will have to be your profit, Mr. Vane. I've inquired into the law since our last meeting. You, Mr. Vane, are an accessory before and after the fact. They hang accessories right along with the principals. You'll hang, Mr. Vane, if we give evidence to the Commonwealth.
I'm only a servant, obeying my master's orders.
And robbing him blind? Well, that's no concern of ours. What we earn by taking all the risks is ours. All of it. $100, so we'll ask Dr. Graham for it, and he'll pay. He'll pay.
Don't be too sure. He hates your kind. You tell him the truth and he'll go to the authorities.
And lay himself under charges of murder? I don't think so, Mr. Vane. I don't think so at all. No, Mr. Vane, he'll keep Mom. His mom was married, Gerald. And he'll make us rich. You'll see to that. Or you'll dance on thin air with the rope round your scrawny neck.
Rigor mortis, only an initial stage. No evidence of preparation for burial. Bruises on the throat. Death within a few hours by strangulation. I've trusted you, Vane. God help me, I've trusted you.
He's still to be trusted, Doctor. And so are we. 4 men in the same boat, and we'll sail away together, eh? And we mustn't have mutiny amongst us. If it'll calm your conscience any, we can say we stumbled across her lying in a ditch. Or perhaps, poor thing, hung herself. Left there, she'd be carted off to Potter's Field. So we did the only decent thing and brought her here, where she'll be treated with respect. All we ask in return is common courtesy, and what goes with it. Quid pro quo, as the lawyers say. Well, say what you will, she's here, and here she'll bide. You'd be the loser, Doctor, you and your faithful servant, if we were forced to stir up a controversy or a scandal. So there'll be no scandal. $100 is the price.
You can spare it, Doctor. That's cheap, considering. All that money coming in, what with your lectures and demonstrations here, while the rest of the anatomists and surgeons square of law students because we've granted you our exclusive services. $100, the doctor's orders. And $7 cartage. We carried her 4 long, weary miles. That's Mary Gerald, Doctor. She's from the Berkshires. She came to the city to seek her fortune.
Get out. Get out.
Yes, all right, Doctor. We'll be back, though. Open the door.
It won't do you any good to shout at me, Doctor. We're equals now. Both in the same boat.
Quoting Jacob Grant. And you quote him without shame.
A man has a right to look after himself the best he can.
Murder doesn't matter.
It's late in the day, Doctor. Too late for murder to matter to you.
He killed her and you sold her. You sold my sister!
You stop that clacking or I'll tear your tongue out. Your sister was never here. You never had a sister. I'll warm my supper and stop sniveling.
One step at a time, John. We don't want them deciding to leave. They may be of use to us later on. A runaway bride and groom, homeless and friendless in the city. Sheltered by Aunt Kennedy. We let our nosy neighbors know about it. They'll think more kindly of us and whisper less. Where? Young Mr. Evans. Come in. We didn't know you were out. I gather you've been searching for employment.
And found none. I even tried the tannery around the corner.
Tannery? Oh, no. A hell on earth. No place for you, Mr. Evans.
Well, they didn't harm me anyhow. I promised you I'd earn our keep.
You will. You will. Trust us, Mr. Evans. We trust you. All will be well. We'll shake hands on the bargain, eh? Now then. Go bring your young bride to share a meal with us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Grant. It's been a hungry day at that.
Bruce.
Dearest, what is it?
He killed her. They've murdered Mary Gerald.
Elsie, what are you talking about?
It's true. They killed her to be sold.
Oh, darling, you've slept and not realizing it, you've had a nightmare.
No, I haven't. I overheard Mrs. Grant. She accused him, and he didn't deny it. And then he beat her with his fists. It's true. They're murderers.
Darling, you mustn't let your imagination do this.
Mr. Evans, supper is on the table.
In a moment, Mr. Grant. In a moment. Darling, listen to me. I love you. I'd say I'd die for you, but that's not giving you anything worth having. I only pray to live for you, to work for you, to build you a home and see you happy in it. What have my prayers done for you until now? I stole you away from decent comfort in the home where you were born and brought you with me into this.
Bruce, please.
I'm a failure. I even thought of begging today so I wouldn't come home empty-handed. Elsie, if you'll only be patient with me, for only another day or night or so, we'll leave this place.
With you, I have more than patience. I have everything.
Now, come along, darling. If there's anything to what you say, we mustn't make them suspicious. That was a fine dinner, Mrs. Grant. I'm sorry Mary wasn't here to enjoy it.
I'm sorry I can't say the same, Mr. Evans. My dear wife's sister decided to room elsewhere. Apparently, she was quite taken with the inn where Mr. Paterson so kindly secured employment for her. Plenty of male companionship. Quite a contrast to this humble dwelling. She asked us to deliver her belongings to her as soon as possible.
That doesn't sound like Mary. She was so looking forward to seeing you. That's all she talked about. Just doesn't sound like her to just go away.
Did she send us any message?
Yes, she did, yes. She said as soon as she had the time, she'd pay us all a visit. I fear my poor wife's extremely upset. She's always worried about, well, to be delicate, the free and easy life Mary has always led in the past. Now, you, my dear, are a happily married young bride. You have your husband to make your world. But Mary, well, the less said, the better.
I don't believe it. Mary Gerald was good and kind.
My wife's not well. She's worried about our future. You'll excuse me, please.
She hoped to find a decent man and be married this. Murderers.
We'll wait a few days and break the sad news to them that my sister-in-law has run off with a gentleman from the inn.
You know he lied, Bruce. They murdered her.
Darling, whatever they've done, we've got to think first about you. If we accuse them, they'll never let you leave. We've got to have proof. Till then, we must be very careful.
They have no proof. We'll keep a close watch on them anyhow.
A close watch.
John, they're worth more alive to us right now, especially the girl. Remember that.
Mr. Vane. The next will be a woman. Very young and rather beautiful, eh, John? For variety in the doctor's demonstrations. We want to do all we can to keep the money rolling in. Oh, the price goes up in the next delivery, Mr. Vane. $150. Worth every penny of it, eh, John?
And so it will be until the anatomy bill is passed, legalizing dissection, ending body snatching, freeing surgeons from the shame that is now forced upon them. Meanwhile, I, Marcus Graham, plead guilty without extenuation. I confess I have connived at murder most foul, and in cowardice concealed it. And may God have mercy on my soul.
Dr. Marcus Graham. Lecturer in anatomy. Dr. Marcus Graham. Body buyer. Murderer.
I am what you say I am. But who are you?
A nobody. A lodger taken in by Jacob Grant and John Paterson in their charity. You know them well, don't you, Doctor? You do business with them.
Well, I have done business with them.
And you've done more of it tonight. Only this time the secret's out. I couldn't believe there's such creatures to whom a life is nothing. So I followed them up and down streets and byways since early morning. Till I saw them kill. And now what they've killed is here in this house. Bought and paid for. Waiting for your knives. Shall we see what you got for your money, Doctor? They called him Little Jamie. He danced to make the people laugh. An innocent, a poor outcast playing the fool to earn his bread.
I had written and signed my full confession. It's on my desk. Will you take it to the authorities?
You're well aware they'd never listen to a nobody like me.
But if I go to them, they'll demand names. And I have no right to ruin the reputations of my colleagues.
You'd rather leave Grant and Paterson at large than hurt the gentlemen who buy their wares? That's bravery. That's being noble. He had a name. It wasn't much, but it was his. He had a life. It wasn't much, but it was all he owned. That's your way out, is it? Go on, drink. It's nicer than a rope around your neck.
Whatever your name is, whatever brought you here, I thank you. I'm going to the police. Perhaps we can prevent another murder.
Ah. Yeah, not bad, John. John. Not bad at all. Well, we'll share a little of our good fortune with our friends. A double drink all around. Step up, step up. We'll toast the anatomy bill. May it wither on the vine.
You've no friends here. And none of us would drink with you, Jacob Grant. Nor with him, even if our tongues hung out in thirst. No use for murderers.
Well, now indeed. Our great friend, Mr. Kyle, thinks himself too good to take our little gift.
Too good to drink liquor mixed with blood.
You said too much, with that not to say more. Tell us, Mr. Kyle, do you talk so loosely elsewhere? That would be a sad mistake.
I talk where I please and when I please. We're low enough to drag the dead from their last resting place and sell them for so much a pound. But the sin of murder doesn't rest on us.
Murder. Now that is an ugly word. It's all very well for those in the trade who are losers to envy the winners. But to speak of murder... Yes, John, I think we must.
Mr. Grant. Graham's done it. He's done it. You have to help me.
Outside, Mr. Hayden, outside.
Now, what has Graham done?
He's written his confession. Named you both. Some stranger followed you. Young, fair.
Young? Fair? It's our lodger, Mr. Evans.
He saw you do the job on little Jamie. He told Graham. Graham's gone mad. He means to hang all of us.
I wasn't born to be hanged, Vane. Of that I'm sure and certain.
Well, they won't hang me. If I'm caught, I'll tell the authorities everything I know.
Well, then, we must make it worth your while to go away. Mustn't we, Mr. Vane? It's all right, John. No damage done as long as everything comes out even in the end. Now run, Mr. Vane. Run while you can. Listen carefully. You go back to the lodging, collect our belongings, and come back here as fast as you can.
Leave everything to me, Jacob.
Now listen, John. Do exactly as I say. Let nothing or nobody stop you. Do you understand?
I won't. I won't let nobody stop me.
Give us a nail, girl.
You've done it, Mr. Grant. Foul things for all of us. You put an end to our last chance to earn $1. And now you're running.
I've got money in my pocket. I'll be glad to share. You'll let me go. Let me go.
We don't want your blood money. There's a law amongst us, too. We don't kill and fatten on our own kind.
child. I'm not going, Mrs. Grant. I can't leave without Bruce. I just can't.
But this is our only chance to go to the police now while they're out. Please, we've no time to lose. They'll be coming home to supper. Child, it's you they'll kill next. Do you think your husband wants that?
I must wait for him. You go, Mrs. Grant.
Unlock the door. Open up.
Quickly, the stairs. They lead to the storeroom. Try to get to the roof. Go, child, go.
You're going to leave us, was you?
You leave that girl alone. I don't care what you do to me, but don't touch her.
Where's Grant?
I don't know.
Where's Grant? Evans and his wife, where are they?
They're upstairs. Go help them.
All right, where is he?
He's at the chain and anchor. It's all his fault. I just did what he said. He's a murderer. I don't want to hang.
Oh, thank God you're safe. Now come with me. They have finished with me. I am to go home now. Nothing more is required of me but silence. The quiet disappearance of a ghost. They'll hang two madmen, while the sane are carefully kept free of any stain. However, I have managed to extract a guarantee in return for my promise to stir up no scandal. My former colleagues are drafting a new anatomy bill. There will be sufficient pressure now to force it through the legislature. So, out of evil, good. How many died? How many bodies bought and sold? Much wiser not to ask. Much more comfortable not to know. As long as surgeons will be free of corruption and conspiracy from this time forward, you, the innocent bystanders, have made the liberation of my profession possible. But I wish in some small way to show my gratitude. Will you go home with me? All three. Mine is a lonely house.
Gratefully, Doctor, if you want us.
Thank you.